What's up, family? It's your boy, Reverend Stu, and we're back for another episode of Let's Talk Fam. I am excited to have my big boy. We're actually in a new spot right now. We're chilling on the couch with PG.
On the couch.
Hey, let's go. I'm really excited. I know. I love it. I think it's fire. Yeah. So I'm really excited to have my big brother in this moment, especially because I feel like we're all dealing with so much right now in the world. And a part of me, you know, as I've been talking to a lot of people, you know, it's not just that, like, you know, we're dealing with a lot. It's like on one level, we feel powerless. And then on another level, like, it's some people that just kind of want to keep people angry. They never want to give them like here's some legitimate things you can do in this moment, and here's some things that you can use to feed yourself. So for me in this moment, I want us to just simply, you know, I love Reverend Dr. Charles E. Goodman. I love Reverend Dr. Charles E. Goodman.
They may not know who I am, so make sure that we let the people know who I am.
The people know who you are.
Okay. I didn't know if I was a special guest or just a regular person.
A special guest. Y'all see him every Sunday. Every Sunday.
They drag me in here
4 times a day.
I feel like I'm not matching. I'm just getting off a plane. But this is dope.
Our special guest, hailing from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Say the whole
Dudley Junior High. The home. What is y'all?
Oh man, Dudley High School, man.
No, I mean y'all.
Wait for it. We go through the whole thing. Good to be here, Dante. It's so great for us to be here.
I need the mascot. Who's the
Panthers?
Okay, hailing from Dudley High, PG, point guard, all-star, Wake Forest.
Man, you crazy. Man, it's good to be here. Thank y'all. We're trying to be more intentional about adding stuff. And so we were joking because I think one of the things you wanted me to do is to not come on this space as Reverend Doctor and as PG, but just as kind of who regular me. So
which is kind of interesting though too, because I feel like is there a difficulty oftentimes with like, you know, the distinction between like, all right, Reverend Dr. Charles E. Goodman and maybe moments where you just kind of want to be Charles. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, I think it is always having to live in that dichotomy of being the pastor and how people engage the pastor versus the person. And they are interchangeable. I never want to. It is the crux of who I am. However, outside of that, there are things, thoughts that just as a human being that I decipher. So I enjoy these moments to not have to put that cap on. But I mean, I am a pastor, and I don't run for me. When it's your calling, you understand this. You got to wear those hats and be what it is. So I really appreciate these moments to kind of not necessarily have to come from the pastoral perspective, because there are a lot of things that I perhaps cannot say in certain venues simply because I don't just represent myself in the pastoral moment. I represent Tabernacle Baptist Church. And what that means is that a lot of times I have to be mindful of what I say, how I say it, especially in this day and age where we go for clickbait and we have a lot of stuff that, you know, I have to be honest, you know, we cover a wide swath of individuals who go to our church. And so that's a whole nother conversation for another podcast. Maybe we'll do it on
we should.
But I do, you know, in this space, I'm speaking solely for Charles E. Goodman Jr. So I'm taking off that hat. I'm not representing, you know, Tabernacle Baptist Church per se.
For sure.
But this is a conversation. So those of you watching it, clicking it, if I say anything kind of crazy, don't put it on my church.
Hey, don't slide in the DMs. Don't slide. Please do not slide in the church DMs. We don't need no emails. And what's so cool is like I love this because like there's a part of like us where we have a friendship outside of church that, you know, to me, I appreciate, to where like, you know, you can be your reverend in those moments. And also, you know, I feel like there's something special about having moments where you're just like ordinary people, you know, and you kind of beyond the spotlight of whatever people either project on you or, you know, what we have to be, you know, what we're good at, you know, in a sense that way as well. And one of the things I've been thinking about, man, we've just been talking about this all the time. It's like this political moment we find ourselves in. And what we are attempting to do right now. So I'm interested to hear, just this day, today, I looked out on my phone. The president signed another executive order. And of course, to be clear, like, just because somebody signed, let's be clear, just because somebody signed an executive order doesn't mean that, they will be able to enact, but still.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
How you Are you
speaking about the Department of Education piece?
Yeah, the Department of Education today. That's just one of the the many.
I think we're on day 60, right? Close to it.
I've been clocked out.
Yeah, it is day 60. Today's actually the day of this recording is March 20th. It's my grandfather's birthday, so I know this day. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I really wish I had more words, but a lot of times I find myself vacillating. So when we were recording this, I'm literally just getting off the plane, and I listen to podcasts when I travel.
For sure.
Try to keep up on all the history things and doing a lot of reading I'm doing. I think my first thought was, wow, I'm not sure that many people understood what they were voting for. I read all of Project 2025. It's going right by the books. Then the other part of me says, no, I think many people didn't know what they were voting for. Those who are regretful and remorseful are now figuring out they wanted what they voted for. They just didn't think it would affect them. Then my mind goes to another thing to think, man, there are a lot of people who stayed at home, and what does that mean? Because regardless if you vote or not, it impacts you and affects you. Right?
Yep.
Then the other thought I got was, it is interesting how we have one political party who's doing whatever they can when they have power. Another political party had power, but acted so cautiously and acted as if they could not do anything. That is frustrating, because these are real life implications. Even if we take, for example, the Department of Education, people don't understand. And this is for me. This is the Charles Goodman in me, who loves history, reads voraciously and widely. Whenever I hear statements such as, we'll just give the power back to the states, that sounds a lot like what forced the Civil War.
Exactly.
I don't think people understand exactly what the Department of Education does and how it has been very beneficial and helpful for marginalized communities to make sure that they had voices being heard in the educational process. Department of Education does not choose curriculum, but it does help develop those who are handicapped. If you have children who have autism or need IEPs, a lot of that goes through that. If there's civil rights issues concerning with the education of your children, Department of Education kind of spearheads that. To totally dismantle that is sobering. And I'm not sure if this is a controversial statement, but I am just been coming to the realization of these last few months with all that has happened in our nation. Did the Civil War really end? I'm not sure. Did the fight morph, right? What did we miss? Right, you go from Civil War, Reconstruction, and the backlash to that. Then Jim Crow, then civil rights, to where we are now. Think about it. Just 5 years ago, we were marching in the streets about the George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. Man, we was at a place, man. You was in different. That moment. That's when you was coming out with your book.
It was different.
And everyone was like, wow, look how much progress. And to think within the span of almost 2 months, rights and stuff that were on the books for 60 plus years have been taken back. They took the Jackie Robinson historical part off of the website.
We didn't even know it was there.
I didn't know it was there.
They're going for things that we didn't even know was like existing.
And I hear that it went back. Somebody just sent me something else It went back. I think they brought it back.
But then
that everything, like this DEI piece that most people don't even understand, doesn't even really benefit us to the extent of what they think.
Yeah. But to them, it don't matter, though.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. To them, it's like, hey, DEI just means black.
Yeah.
It means whatever. Like, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's really sad to think that there's a sentiment that we're not qualified. Mm. And that is a sobering reality, because most of the times we're the overqualified people in the room. And what opportunities that we were afforded was just to give us an opportunity. Mm. And for all that to be scaled back under the guise of not qualified, man, we're really seeing something here where I feel like we're cascading to a place of what they were wanting before the 1950s.
Yes.
There was a podcast I was listening to that was discussing and was talking about what year would you say is the year? You keep saying "Make America Great Again." What year does that look like? And the year that kept coming up in that thing was 1954. Most people don't realize about 1954. It's after the year of Brown v. versus Board of Education. So if that was the case, that they want to go back to before 1954, before there was integration in schools, which then led to the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, it feels, I want to be wrong, but I'm not sure that I am, that what we're seeing is a capitulation to us going back to a place where there is a subservient class.
Yes.
That is simply there to benefit the needs of a small minority of wealthy individuals. Mm. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing is that they have convinced people to focus on race to the point where most people will vote against their own interests for the mere fact to say that they're not something else. Well, at least I'm not black.
Facts.
Even though most of the cutbacks will eventually begin to affect them higher. They're getting ready to cut SNAPs, right? Mm-hmm. Which most people would consider, what's that, like welfare or food stamps. Yeah. More white Americans are on that than any other demographic.
Yep.
Like, hello. Yeah. DI impacts more white women.
Way more than us.
LGBTQIA more than it does black people. Yep. But it's easier to put it on something that we can say we don't like, not realizing that it really impacts you a lot more than the ones you're really trying to hate at that moment. Fact. And that's interesting.
Fact. So I think people would say like, okay, well, we've been here before, but like, do you think this represents a new moment? Is this moment different?
That's what I'm wrestling with, Dante. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure if it's new.
Yeah.
It really, man, makes me think, man, how much progress did we make? Yeah. I was listening to a podcast, that one that I really enjoy listening to, The Native Land, with Tiffany Cross, Angela Rye, and Andrew Gillum. I enjoyed their commentary. Yeah. And they were making an argument in that politically, now we can move into the political piece, but they were making an argument that maybe this ain't new. Maybe it's a continuation of a struggle that we never really won. As we were focusing on civil rights, voting rights. Yeah. I made this statement some years ago. When the voting rights was passed, it was still tenuous. It only had a limit to it. It wasn't a forever amendment, right? Yeah. Voting Rights Act was not a forever. That's why it could be pushed back. That's why the Voting Rights Act, when we look back at 2013, which is going to be a major thing when they got rid of a part of that really made it easier for states to be able to pick out who and where they can vote. Yep. There's a lot that has happened that I think people slept on. Citizens United, which added more money to politics, which at the end of the day, we wonder who are most of our politicians beholden to? Probably more to special interests than to the people, because it takes money in this day and age to be politically viable. So I'm not sure, Dante. I don't think it's a new moment. I think it's the same moment. And we come to the realization that as much progress as we had thought we had made was not as much. And that's what I'm really wrestling with. I wish I had concrete answers. I don't have much more.
Same. And then I also be wondering if like the social media moment makes it a little bit different.
Say more. I would love to hear more about what that
because
is.
I think, so there was a report recently in the New York Times that was about, what young men are thinking about MAGA and gender and religion. And many of them, and then there's another report, another essay that was written, The Battle for the Bros. I'm only talking about this because, this was a big topic in this previous election, was the way young male demographics voted in this previous election. And many of either the like radicalization or the extremism of so many of these younger demographics happen. The gateway is online. It's on YouTube, it's on TikTok.
But I would also add to that too, Dante, COVID.
Facts. Say more.
I don't think we know that period of isolation. COVID, we were isolated, couldn't be around people. Plus the rise of social media or just these information systems that I could go follow down rabbit trails and rabbit holes without much consensus. I think that fed into it. I'm not sure, and it's still a new moment because it's only been 5 years. I'm not really sure if we understand how much that, I can't just say deprogrammed, but I also want to say reprogrammed.
Yes.
A generation of people.
Yeah.
Because then, once again, the decentralized information, we don't have the same information structures anymore. So I find who I want to listen to. Because now my truth becomes whatever I agree with.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have credentials anymore. We don't check credentials. People don't come in, even if they watch us. I mean, we got degrees, but they don't. Most people run across some things, don't really check credentials to that particular way. I'm just not sure. I think, it's so overwhelming.
But I want to lean into that. I feel like the overwhelming is the point, though. Like, because that's, honestly, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I have found it. So, for the first time today, I took like a 6-day break from posting online. Just because, like, the last few days have been of political drama has been so much. And I feel like most people are overwhelmed. I'm wondering if you feel that too. Is there a sense of like,
I'm overwhelmed, and I also vacillate between hope and despair.
Facts. I am kind of pessimistic right now. I ain't gonna lie.
There's hope and despair.
I am. I don't have much. The thing is, like, a lot of people ask me about hope, and I'm just like, I got a whole lot of determination. I would rather say I am determined, because like I feel like hope to me is just too, like, it depends too much on people acting in the interest of everybody else. In the best interest of everybody.
My hope is that I know God, and I trust sovereignty of God, and I trust God's ending plan.
Sure.
I think my challenge is, my despair is in the depravity of humanity. And I do think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I don't know exactly what worse means. It just feels, man, I think it's really just come to the point where all this work that you think people care for the other person. And that's a whole nother conversation. I think we could build up a whole nother podcast on that. My faith allows me to see the humanity of people, even if I don't agree with people. But I feel like we're in a space where people don't even see the humanity in other people. We're at war. And you have one side that has a bazooka and tank, and the other side that just feels like
we got signs and
like you trying to bring a pencil or something.
Hey, facts.
I'm like, this is different. Like, even the political movement this past week. Now, we had the Senate Minority Leader claim on one day he was going to stop the bill, then the next day he doesn't. That was real controversial.
Oh, that's a big moment. Yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah.
However you saw it, most people view it as a capitulation. How could you? I think if you read the money, you'll see it was a donor push. But also, my issue is, even if you said, listen, a shutdown will be worse than passing this horrible bill that you said is horrible, what's the alternative? Yeah. Did you offer say, hey, this is a horrible bill, but here's an alternative that we're willing to negotiate? It didn't even feel like it was a negotiation.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's almost like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah. Yeah. I think it's leaning to what everyday people are feeling.
Yeah.
Like
but have eggs went down? I ain't seen them down.
They haven't.
You know, my favorite place, Waffle House, man. They added 50 cents to every egg, man.
I went to the grocery store yesterday.
Yeah, it's tough.
Them eggs still $7.
We about to probably run into a recession.
Yeah, that's where all things are pointing to, and it's kind of, if I'm keeping honest, like, you know, it's, you know, there's a part of me that also worries about that. It's like, you know, as a creative, you know, thinking about like, you know, the so much of what we are facing right now affects everybody in some capacity.
Yeah.
Where like whether you caring for people as a pastor, you know, or whether you know, teaching, whether you writing, whether you doing whatever, you know, we're all affected in this thing right now. And I think like it's a scary moment for us to be in. And I think a lot of people are asking, like, what do we do? Because a lot of people are feeling powerless. So they see, like, okay, the capitulation that happens in Washington. And it's like, okay, what is happening on my everyday level? And how is that going to affect me on an everyday level? And what do I do? Like, how do I navigate? People ask me this all the time online. Like, what do I do, bro? I'm like, y'all, like, my job as a writer is simply to try and develop language about how we feel and what we sense and how we can name what we feel. And, like, this. I am not a political theorist in that sense that like I give you like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I can tell you right now, and I'm watching Severance, and like, you know, I'm looking at Severance and I'm looking at Paradise, and I'm running like 40 miles a week and chilling. So, you know, and I'm trying to figure out like how to balance like family life, mental health, and all of this. You know, it's like overwhelming. So I'm interested, like how is Chuck taking care of himself in this moment?
I think for me, control what you can control.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to be more intentional, especially during our Lenten fast. One of the things that I've kind of added is more self things to add. Be more consistent, physical training, meditation. Reading for me has been helpful. Now it's typically what I would do, but I some things that I just get the distractions out. Things I would tell people that I think is important at this junction. Because it's overwhelming. There's a part of me that believes we're going to have to take a rope-a-dope approach like Muhammad Ali and just absorb the blows. Other part of me says, what can we do to make sure that we are engaging and strengthening the institutions that we know will support us? Our black institutions, churches, schools, businesses, whatever it looks like. Been kind of proud of the people doing the Target fast. I didn't announce it publicly, but you know, we're supporting it. I'm not going to Target. Had a good conversation with a friend who said the only critique he would make of the fast is, why didn't we create a alternative? Right? If we're going to fast from this, why didn't we have another thing set up to say, don't use Target, but here's all the black things. That was quite an interesting thought. I thought was, you know, important.
That's good.
Take care of your family. And then we got to begin to strategize and organize from local out. I think we lost that battle. I think we missed it. I think there have been moments in our history where we drank the Kool-Aid that we were further along than we really were. And you know this. I'm not sure if you watch football, Dante. I'm not sure if you know anything about the sport.
I don't.
But what I've learned in sports is it's not over until it's 4 zeros on the scoreboard.
Yes, sir.
There was a game a few years ago in the Super Bowl. I think a team trying to get the name. They were up 28-3.
Reverend.
In the Super
Bowl. You going there, Reverend?
Yeah. 28-3.
They ain't gonna like you for this now.
I'm not really sure. I'm trying to remember who the team was, but they were in the Super Bowl. Speaking of Super Bowl, you know my team won this year.
Red. The Holy Ghost said it. Red. They wore red and black and white.
Red, black, something.
I think so.
Yeah,
they
were up 20.
The other bird.
They were up 28-3 in the Super Bowl. Now I'm bringing this up not to rub it in because they haven't been back or won anything. But what I'm saying is, I think there's a great analogy about that.
Yeah.
It's just when you think you're up, it can be gone just that fast. And that's what this feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like all this thing we were told is post-racial. Yeah. Everything's better. You know, they keep, especially during Martin Luther King Day, you know, content of character, right? Yeah. Not the color of your skin. They keep trying to tell us that. And I just like, no, that lead, whatever we thought was, is like we were at the one ready for the tush push. And
Marshawn
up by 27 points.
Marshawn Lynch, we threw the ball on the one.
And we threw the ball. I am, the ball. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a lot. So I would say that. I would say control what you can control. Yeah. Do things in a healthy manner that will engage and strengthen you spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, physically. Love your family. I mean, you know, it's the little basic things that I'm having to find a little joy in everything.
Fact.
Because I can't find it in the big things no more. Because I don't know how it's going to end.
No.
Every day is something.
No.
And I don't even think you know how to respond because you ain't even got through what yesterday was.
Exactly.
By the time the day comes, you're like, this happened again. What?
Yeah, a new thing.
Yeah. We got to do a part 2 or 3 and 4 on that one. But, yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. What are you listening to lately? I want to go through what music you've been listening to lately?
Man, you know I'm still stuck in the 90s, man.
Oh, okay, come on.
90s
hey,
R&B.
hey, now, hey.
90s R&B, 90s hip hop.
I did last summer. I listened to nothing but 90s. I'm better now.
Me joy.
I'm better now.
That gives me joy.
Like Marvin Sapp said, I'm stronger. I'm wiser. I'm better, much better.
I had a friend try to put me on some new stuff, and it didn't. You know, most people may not know this, but I collect vinyls, so
nice.
I enjoy. Getting some jazz,
nice.
Some old Miles Davis, some, you know, Coltrane. Just when I'm kind of just being, man, just really enjoying those things. And this is gonna sound crazy. Playing more video games.
What you on right now?
Man, you know they got a. I bought it not thinking it was gonna be what it's gonna be, but it actually is pretty good. Cause I'm a big Indiana Jones guy. There's a game, The Great Circle. I thought it was third person. I enjoy third person games. But it's not like third person, like first person, like walk around and do all this kind of, but it's actually pretty good.
Oh, okay.
And so I play that.
I love that. You play Last of Us yet?
I can't get into that.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I can't get into that.
Because we talked about video games before. I don't think
I like Tomb Raider. I like third point. I like that. I don't do Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
I don't like zombie games.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not my favorite things to do.
Yeah, that's what that got me through COVID.
Yeah.
The Last of Us.
Really? So you enjoyed it? There was a part I tried that game, and there was a part I couldn't get by. I mean, it kept killing me every single time.
Oh, man, nah.
Every single time.
I played that game for hours. I was locked up in my room for 14 days. That was 13 days, and I played The Last of Us for hours.
And you just played it by yourself.
I told you, oh, my God. That Last of Us and one-on-one is what got me through COVID.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Last of Us and one-on-one.
Yeah.
And so I've been going back through I've been going back to I haven't been playing video games lately just because I've been kind of mentally in like a little work block. Mm-hmm. But I have been listening to a lot of music lately. Mm-hmm. And I've been going back through Kendrick Lamar's whole catalog.
Did you?
Oh, my God. I went back through his whole catalog.
He's a deep thinker, man.
Oh, my goodness. I have had the best time, you know, going back through his catalog. And I think for me, especially as like a young black man, I feel like Kendrick has gone through so many like iterations of himself, and he's like constantly in the journey in which he's finding himself, and so much of what he's trying to do on the album is about like also personifying this country.
We need to do one just talk about music, because I would love to have a discourse about that music.
Yeah,
that
would be great.
We can talk about.
That would be great. All right, y'all. Family, we hope
they're gonna bring me back.
The special,
hopefully y'all bring me back.
Special guest that y'all have never heard of.
Yeah, I would love to come back.
The special guest y'all have never heard of.
If you allow me to come back, let's move into. Yeah, let's discuss that. Some fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the music.
Yeah, for sure.
I would love to do, because do most people know that you hadn't really seen many black movies? Have they known this?
See, the thing.
That's for the next time. We're going to talk about that's going to be on the next one.
Okay.
If they let me come back on.
Okay, I ain't got no comeback for that one. I started the movie. I started the music though.
Okay.
So like, I still haven't seen Love Jones.
Greatest movie of all time.
Yeah. But I did start A Different World now because it came on Netflix.
Okay.
So I did start it.
That's so sad.
I do know that the one season had a different song and the other season had another song.
Yeah, okay.
So I did look, hey, you got to give me that. Come on, bro.
No, it's no excuse. It's no excuse.
We're
We're going to get back on that because there's a lot, I know. There's a lot you don't know. It needs to get done too.
Yo.
But man, thank you.
We hope y'all enjoyed this episode, man, and we look forward to seeing y'all again as we bring PG, the special guest, back on Let's Talk Fam.
Let's do it.
As we just continue to just like navigate this together, and we're gonna be well. We're going. The game ain't over till the clock hit 0.
Breathe.
Yeah. Breathe.
When it gets a lot, just breathe.
Yeah, that's real.
When it gets overwhelming, breathe. Yeah. It's okay to disconnect. That's the way we're going to get through it. We're going to make it.
Facts. All right, y'all. We out.
Peace.
We'll see you again. Love y'all.